this morning, we've been looking back at the Championship playoff final, and it's Sunderland who will be playing in the Premier League after an 8-year absence after their comeback victory over Sheffield United, a late goal sealing their victory that sees them promoted to the top flight. We've, as I say, been talking a lot about Sunderland this morning, and speaking to Kevin Phillips as well, and it's really difficult sometimes to speak to those that are on the losing side. And I mentioned character. You do have to have a certain type of character to join a show fresh from something that has meant the world to you and it's not gone to plan. So in that sense, I'm delighted to say, although I realise it's very difficult, that Chris Wilder, the Sheffield United manager, joins us this morning. Chris, good morning to you.
Hi, Chris.
Thank you so much for being with us, because it's really difficult to come on, as I say, after what you've experienced yesterday at Wembley. How are you this morning?
Yeah, listen, I was always coming on, for Cass have been a big pal of mine and yourself. So, you have to be consistent with your attitude. It was a one-off game, so we understood the eventualities if we didn't get it right. But, I was suffering a little bit last night. Felt a little bit sorry for myself and the players and the staff, and most importantly the supporters. But the job is a leadership job, so I've got to lead and I've got to front it up and take ownership of everything and get back on the bike.
Chris, if you take the bigger picture, it's been an unbelievable season for you. You've been literally rubbing shoulders. You've been in the top three for large parts of the season. You played fantastic yesterday for an hour. You didn't see any way really that Sunderland could get back into the game or even win it. And look, and that there's a lot of positives to take from the season, the game yesterday, and where you are as a football club, because you made a lot of change in the summer, huge amounts of change within the playing group.
Yeah, I think it sometimes goes unnoticed, really, Cass, and two incredibly outstanding teams getting 100 points, really. So it looks at times that we failed, but 92 points and all the challenges we had and the changes that we had in the summer, change of ownership as well. I thanked the owners last night, because they put on a bit of a gathering and very supportive, and Stephen Bettis, the chief exec, very supportive of our efforts this season, and knowing that we have to go again. So yeah, of course it's a difficult one to take, a one-off game, and as we know, we were for me we were in control of the game, but sometimes certain things go against you, and I think you look through the sort of the playoff campaign, and I think Frank would have been incredibly sort of disappointed not to have got through to the final, and Sunderland got the way there and found a way yesterday. So he seems like a decent guy, Regis, and they've got a really talented group of young players. It's a fabulous football club. Their supporters were outstanding yesterday. So as I said, wish them all the best in getting back to the Premier League, and we've got to go again, dust ourselves down, regroup. Imagine there'll be a little bit of a rebuild, but the club's in a good position. I played for the club in '86. I think I made my debut in '86, Cass, and you know what it was like up there. The ground was falling to pieces. We didn't have an academy. We didn't have a training ground. I think we were getting sort of 8,000 or 9,000 supporters at that particular time, and now I think since 2016 we've had a good run at it, and you have to take these disappointments in your stride. I've had plenty of successes and good times in my career, and you have to deal with this in the way that we try to deal with it as a football club.
It's one thing to lose a playoff when it's your job, Chris, but to lose it as a fan as well, how hard is that to take?
Yeah, I've always said, Natalie, the highs are a lot higher and the lows are a lot deeper. So it stung yesterday for the family, but I've got a beautiful family supporting me. I've got magic pals. John knows a few of them who were there yesterday. Cass knows a few of them who were there yesterday as well. So I've got really good people around us. I'm a fabulous football club, and I know, listen, there'll be a little bit of negativity towards yesterday, and I get that. That's part of the game, and I think social media amps that up, 1,000%. But there's support that I've had. We had a fabulous opportunity yesterday to create another great memory, and unfortunately we didn't take it. The game was there for us. I think there was a couple of things that went against us. We're sort of lamenting VAR. We have it, we don't have it for 48 games, and it comes into play on the 49th. I think it's maybe not a decision that went for us. We had a couple of injuries at key times that really knocked us a little bit. And Sunderland were clinical. They took their little bit of opportunity, and that's what usually these games are defined on. They're defined on, moments, big moments, and we've had a 2 or 3 big moments really to push us noses heads even more. But when it's 1-0, you're always open to that little bit of magic that they produced. And I've just been speaking to Sunderland support this morning. It's amazing that Tommy Watson gets sold in January to Brighton. He gets a bit of stick off the Sunderland punters, and his final action for his football club. He's a winner at Wembley in the 97th minute. It's just the way the game is sometimes.
Yeah. Well, look, the keeper made a couple of great saves, Patterson, didn't he? The one from Brooks, the one early on from Kiefer Moore. The injury at the end, the big centre half is up there, and you don't know whether if he's going to play on or not. And you end up having 10 men on the field concede the goal. Kiefer Moore, I thought, was terrific for you yesterday. For him to be, you just mentioned the lad at Sunderland, Watson, who's he's come on and got the winner. Kiefer Moore, I thought, was terrific for large parts of the game. Caused called Sunderland a lot of problems. He's the one who loses the ball, and you're like, wow, that's football. That's just what it is. His performance and his contribution to this season shouldn't be defined by that, and it shouldn't be defined. None of us really, because like I said, 92 points. I think gets you up. I think it's a club record. We wanted to get into the 90 points, and we did that. We've got some good young players coming through as well. So, the plus side of it, we've got some, terrific young players through the academy cast that will go again. It wasn't to be, but it still doesn't take that pain and that sting from yesterday. As I said, I'm stood outside Wembley now. We stayed at the Hilton last night, and Nathan Jones come over to us last night. I didn't know really what to say to him, but he was supportive, and I told him, make sure you get a result today, mate, because it ain't a place for losers, pal. And certainly wish Nathan and Charlton all the best today. Yeah. What's your plan, Chris? Now is it you're going to take a break, couple of weeks, or?
What do you think it is, Cass, in the next sort of 24 hours?
No, I know the next 24 hours, Chris, but I meant as in.
Yeah, do you have time to switch off?
I know that you're probably going to, just somehow switch away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back up the road this morning. I'm going to see my pal in concert this afternoon, Paul Eaton, who's a massive Sheffield United fan. Yeah. So I got a nice message off him. Come to the gig. So
you need a little time, Chris. Sorry,
stop it.
A little bit of time. Yeah, we need a little bit of time, and then. I've get away with the family, because they've been. I think sometimes the families go through so much. Players and my family have to go so much. They've got somebody who's absolutely 100%, committed and focused on it 24/7. And I spoke to my wife last night, and sometimes you focus too much on your job. You give it everything, but there's that family that you need to take care of. So I'll try and take care of them this summer. And we're back on the 1st of July. So I know the owners have been incredibly positive. They were brilliantly supporting me in January, and their words meant a lot to me last night. They're in it for the long haul, and it's a little bit of a bump in the road. It wasn't something that we wanted to not achieve yesterday, but. I think we go again, and from every low there comes a high, and hopefully we'll be speaking next year in a different way.
Well, hopefully we'll speak to you before that as well, Chris.
Of course,
but you're absolutely right. Look, you said about negativity on social media. I've not seen anything like that. I've seen just a lot of love for you, because it was just the heartbreak of what you all experienced yesterday. And we've had a message in already saying just how it's pure class that you've come on this morning. You didn't need to do it, Chris. I know it's difficult, and so we do really, really appreciate you being with us. So thank you for that.
No problem, Natalie. Anytime. It's a pleasure.
We'll
Yeah.
catch up soon, Chris.
Yeah.
Cheers, Cass. Look
Ta-ra,
after
morning,
yourself.
ta-ra.
Take care. Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
Brilliant.
Bye.
That is the Sheffield United manager, Chris Wilder, there, who, as I say, didn't have to do it. It's not an easy thing to come
No,
on.
I got to know Chris really well, and there was a part of me that was thinking he could lose it, as in, because he's a very, he does.
Passionate.
He's very passionate. You know, if you're working under him, you can imagine how his players would react, and they run through brick walls for him. You saw that yesterday.
Yeah,
you absolutely saw that. He'll be absolutely, shell shocked, broken, but he's, like he said, he's a leader. His job now is to start from the front.
Yeah, exactly. And that was originally that message. That was from Gary, the Liverpool fan, saying that it was class that Chris has come on the show. Dave's just got in touch to say fair play to Chris, an honest interview, and big of him to come on the radio a day after a final defeat. Respect, mate. So says Dave, the Palace fan. So thank you for that as well.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.